Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Monson Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our morning get-together live on Facebook and live on YouTube, where we share headlines and stories and all kinds of information that we can get a hold of that can strengthen our ties to Puerto Vallarta, our connections to our city, whether you live here full-time or you visit frequently. There's got to be something here for you. And if there isn't, just let me know. We try to feature as much information that is useful to as many people as possible. Today is Thursday, June 19th. It rained again last night. And of course, it's, shout out to Sean. Very quickly, shout out to Sean. And you know why? Because Sean posted something you posted something that touched my heart the other day. For those of you that didn't catch it, Sean posted something about volunteering in Puerto Vallarta, saying, hey, I'm coming to Puerto Vallarta. I'd love to volunteer. Last time I was in Puerto Vallarta, I volunteered in this, that, and the other. What an awesome way to schedule some important time aside in the amount of time that you spend here. There you go. I said it. Now, let's take a look at the news, because we have some important news to share today. And we'll continue with the rest of our comments later on. The most important thing in the book is not this black screen. It is this. Hurricane Erick made landfall in the westernmost part of the state of Oaxaca early this morning, with sustained winds of up to 205 kilometers per hour. The storm was classified as a Category 3 on the Saffir-Simpson scale. And according to information provided by the National Hurricane Center, the tropical system is expected to weaken rapidly as it moves through the rugged terrain of southern Mexico, possibly dissipating overnight or early Friday morning. However, the after effects could linger, especially due to excess water accumulated in riverbeds and hillsides. It is good to know, I read elsewhere that President Sheinbaum indicated this morning in her press conference that fortunately there have been no casualties after the hurricane. But you may be wondering, what can we expect after Erick touched land? Well, more rain, and not only for our state, not only for Jalisco, also for the states of Colima and Michoacán on the coast, and inland states such as Querétaro, Hidalgo, and Puebla. We will take a look at the weather forecast in a moment, but first, I showed you this image yesterday of a well-known hotel near Plaza Las Glorias, where the water accumulated. There was a little mini lake. It looks pretty because it's reflective, but it's not pretty when you're trying to get to the hotel on foot. And remember these? I showed you these photographs, this photograph of these big plant holders that were blocking access to the beach near Las Glorias. Well, apparently the city did not carry out the preventive work on the water outlet channel, and the flower pots prevented machinery from accessing Pablo Picasso Street, where the plug is formed. And this could be one of the reasons why so much water continued to accumulate in that area of the city. We should recall that Jorge Alberto Valderas, who's the director of territorial planning and urban development for the municipality, had declared that he would end the blockade of the extension of Pablo Picasso Street in the northern hotel zone, which prevents access to vehicles, ambulances, and machinery to Las Glorias beach. And of course, we know that these flower pots were illegally placed there by the Plaza Pelícanos Hotel. So, this is a time in which a lot of the problems with the infrastructure that is constructed in the city come to light. When it starts raining, hopefully the city will be mindful of this and will address the situation promptly. Also, following the heavy rains of the recent days, number a large amount rather, a large amount of waste was washed onto various beaches in the municipality, including Boca de Tomates, where, in response to the situation, a cleanup campaign was carried out, collecting approximately 2 tons of trash from the beach. Members of the Rehabilita Network, the Ministry of the Environment and National Resources, and the Pitillal delegation, along with citizen volunteers who were committed to preserving the natural environment, participated in this activity. All I can say is thank you for what you do. And we wrap up our news block with a point for reflection. So many times we think of Puerto Vallarta as a safe place for the LGBTQ plus community, and it is marketed like that extensively. And as a gay man, I feel fairly safe living here. But how well does our state fare when it comes to aggression against the community? Well, according to Visible LGBTQ+, this is a platform that allows people to anonymously report cases of abuse based on gender identity or sexual orientation. Jalisco ranks second nationwide for incidents of aggression against the diverse community, with 481 recently reported cases. Mexico City ranks first with 652 incidents, and the state of Mexico ranks third with 394. The main aggressors have been strangers, employers, family members, school or co-workers, and even intimate partners. The attacks generally occur in public spaces, followed by private spaces and social media. Now, this being Gay Pride Month, it is also important to recall that throughout June and part of August, cultural activities are being held in our state, and you can find out more about them at the state's official website. We will leave that in the show notes. It is jalisco.gov with a big B, G-O-B, not G-O-V, .mx. And there's an entire Pride cultural agenda section there. Now, by saying this, I'm not suggesting don't come to Puerto Vallarta because it's not safe for gays. What I'm just inviting you to reflect upon is that our city has created this very safe environment for the gay community. And by saying gay community, of course, I mean the LGBTQ plus community, to feel safe and welcome in our city. But this is not necessarily a reflection of the entire state. And for better or worse, it's certainly not necessarily a reflection of the entire country. So that's just food for thought and nothing much more than that. Now, let's take a quick look at the weather forecast to see what's going on out there. According to our snarky friend who says, that cloud looks like an elephant who drank a little too much tequila. I haven't even looked outside. There's a cloud there, and it is sunny right now. It is 30 degrees. Humidity is at 73% at present time. Our weather forecast indicates that we can expect partly cloudy skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 60%, a high of 32, and a low of 25. Tomorrow, Friday, we can expect thunderstorms throughout the day with a high temperature of 29, a low temperature of 25, and a 85% chance of rain. And then Saturday, it says light rain throughout the day, but there's an 88% chance of it. So I think it's going to rain. We're going to have a high of 29 and a low of 24. So we can look forward to rainy days ahead. Moving right along with what I wish to share with you today. Yesterday, I shared the heartfelt message sent out on social media by Frankie Victoria about the current situation at Vallarta Cares and the urgent need for new donors. And I know of at least one of you cluster members who became a donor after this. So all I have to say is what a pleasure it is to be part of nurturing connections. And and Gary Green, you are awesome as always, and I certainly hope that more people will react to this urgent need at Vallarta Cares for donors, as the work that is being undertaken by Vallarta Care is super important. I also want to share news of the fact that it was totally fun and crazy raucous yesterday at the Joint Boutique Hotel, where I was joined by three luchadores and Jorge, the organizer. We had a lovely interview, a crazy interview, actually. And I hope that we would be able to air it this morning, but I simply did not have enough time to get to it. I will air it tomorrow morning. And do remember that tomorrow night is Lucha Libre at La Lija. It starts at 7 p.m. I always recommend that folks get there at least 45 minutes ahead so that you can get tickets if you haven't gotten your tickets yet. You can also get tickets this afternoon at Soriana in Plaza Caracol by the cashiers. There's a little booth that sets up in the afternoon. You can get your ticket there. You can wait until you get there, but of course, by the time you get to La Lija, chances are that all the seating, all the chair section, the entire chair section will be sold out. So if you don't mind sitting up on the bleachers, bring a pillow, bring your attitude, and get ready for lots of fun. I also want to tell you that I've just announced my second music appreciation for the month of July. Stop. In the Name of Soul, the story of Motown Records in 10 awesome songs. Yes, we've been talking about doing this one for some time, and I am so excited to finally bring it to the schedule. It'll be fun. I know that I'm going to learn a lot of things because I know many of the great hits produced by Motown Records through the ages. But what I'm looking for here and what I'm in the process of finding is 10 songs that defined the history of the record label from its inception to the present time. So this should be a lot of fun, even if you don't know much of Motown music. I think you'll recognize some songs here and there. And of course, before we get into our chit chat section, here is what we can expect today during our Michel Legrand presentation this afternoon at the Joint Boutique Hotel. Here goes the promo for the last time. I have a question for you. Are you familiar with these characters? If you watch this on TV, then you already know Michel Legrand. I may not be able to tell you much about what happens next here, but if you join me this coming Thursday at 5 p.m. at the Joint Boutique Hotel, you may learn a thing or two about Michel Legrand. Yes, this afternoon we learn it all. Yes, we're going to do Michel Legrand today. I am so excited to share some of his most amazing songs with everybody. And you may know them or you may not know them. But if you know them, you may not even know that they were composed by Michel Legrand. And that's the beauty of what we do at our music appreciation presentations. We open our heart, our eyes, our minds, our ears to new music, or maybe old music that we haven't spent much time with in the recent past. Now, let's take a quick look at your comments. Yes, it is. Oh, I said that. I said, duh. It is Music Appreciation Thursday. Of course it is. Let's see. Karen says, we're we're about to have a tropical heat wave in Minnesota. It will make me lonesome for PV. Oh. And Sean, you know, thank you. You're awesome. You're awesome. And Stan, I hope you're having a good day today of wellness with people signing up for neurofeedback and people signing up for Gloria's vocal yoga. I can't wait to hear how it went. And I look forward to seeing you tonight, as always, and to learn more about this affiliation that you've undertaken with Gloria and her wonderful talent. Let's see what else we have. Thank you. Betsy just watched The Umbrellas of Cherbourg after many years, maybe my first knowledge of the composer. Well, that's where we're going to start our music appreciation presentation today. In the fact that Legrand wrote the music for The Umbrellas of Cherbourg, and it was a huge hit in Europe, and it was the first time that America became aware of the music because two hits from that movie were quickly translated to English, and that got it all started. But it's also important to remember that by that moment, Legrand was already huge in Europe. But I don't want to dive into this. I don't want to spill the beans. Hopefully, many of you will join us this afternoon. It should be grand, like Michel Legrand. Yes, that was a bad pun. But where is my dun dun dun? There you go. More good mornings. Thank you very much for those. I see a cue from Queen of Question, Laura. Just wondering if Vallarta Cares could get additional government funding. Maybe a petition as well as help from others would increase the funds to help out. I actually don't have a concrete or specific answer for you, Laura, but I do know that there is grant money to be had from the government, and there are entire careers that are made out of people that know how to navigate that world. I don't know where Vallarta Cares is at that in that process, but I do know that there have been a great number of private donors that have helped out on this particular pursuit. I think grant money is something that a lot of organizations are interested in having access to. So again, it will be interesting. I've reached out to Frankie Victoria, and I've said to her, Frankie, if you ever need to disseminate important information, please let us know. And of course, Frankie, if you're watching, you're always welcome to come back to the spotlight and tell us more about what you're doing and why it matters and why people should care. And this invitation does not only apply to Vallarta Cares. This is what we do at the Spotlight. We create awareness of amazing people. You know, after we had the luchadores yesterday, Diana of Diana Boat Tours came up onto the spotlight, and she was as brilliant and sassy and no filtered as she always has been. It was great to sit down with her and have there were a lot of colorful metaphors in that conversation. That's all I'm going to say. But that's who she is. That's what we do. And I will be editing this during the weekend and bring it to you at the beginning of next week. Let's see what else. Gary, you are a total mensch. That's all I'm going to say. Let's see. Right, Devin? Loads of great Motown artists. It's a really interesting label, and it appeared at a very interesting point in United States history and world history, and we're just going to touch the tip of the iceberg because there's only so much time. But when you think about when it happened and the contrast with the British Revolution and when Motown made it to England, and I mean, there's just so much there to explore. Let's see what else we have. Oh, let's unpack this, Sean. Sean says Umbrellas of Cherbourg has the most amazing wallpaper. There's so much to unpack on that brilliant statement. First of all, let us remember, and again, I'm giving it away, but I can't help it. Um, it was filmed in the days of Technicolor. And Technicolor was the film technology that brought brilliant and punchy and saturated colors to the big screen. So Jacques Demy, who's the director, took advantage of this, and every single scene in the film, from the wallpaper to the color of the dresses to the accessories, everything is so freaking color coordinated. It's not even funny. So it'll be great. It'll be great. Diana, oh my God, you made me laugh. Thank you. Thank you for being such a rich and wonderful part of Puerto Vallarta history. And for those of you that have never been in a boat ride with Diana, well, she has taken a break from being on the boat, but not for the one that she has advertised for the month of July. We learned yesterday that Diana will be on the boat on this particular cruise. So this should be a great, great occasion to connect with her. Again, I will be editing the interview over the weekend and we'll share it with you, cluster members, at the beginning of this coming week. And I think this brings us to the end of today. Yes, it does. It's time for me to get ready and get rid of the Ari Melber look and get ready for this afternoon's music presentation. As always, it is a pleasure to connect with you every morning, except for Sundays when I only connect with my crochet and other projects. I will see you again tomorrow morning. Have an amazing Thursday, and maybe I'll see some of you this afternoon at the Joint Boutique Hotel for music appreciation. Have a great one.